There's definitely no shortage of questions when it comes to losing weight. They range from the complicated, such as the causes of obesity, to the lot more straightforward, like what is a caloric deficit. Yet, two common questions for many seeking to reach their ideal body weight that aren't nearly as often inquired about but are still very helpful to be aware of are what's the difference between portion size and serving size, and what exactly is portion control that we hear so much about. That's why today we'll be answering both. But first, as always, please take note of our disclaimer. Frequently, the terms portion size and serving size are used interchangeably with each other, but they aren't actually the same thing. Serving sizes are the estimates of food you are indicated to consume of a particular item that you'll see on food labels. Indeed, this information can be helpful while shopping. The problem with abiding by them, though, while dieting, is that the manufacturer often decides them. As a result, they could dramatically overestimate the amount of it you should have in one sitting. Of course, maybe having an extra square of chocolate than you should have at one time from following the suggested serving size wouldn't be much harm. Still, you can imagine how this could quickly accumulate extra calories from going by the suggested serving size for everything you consume throughout the day and impede weight loss efforts, especially if you're unaware. It's also worth noting that a serving size on a food label is pretty much the same as a serving size provided to you on a plate at a restaurant. Similarly, they are decisions of how much you should intake determined by the manufacturer or restaurant owner, neither taking into account your weight loss goals. In fact, a study by Young and Nestle in 2003 found that most restaurant portions were more than twice the standard serving sizes, and in some cases 8 times as much. Always remember that sales are a cornerstone for any business. In the food industry, greater food servings provided over competitors can equal bigger profits, so companies may not always consider your best interests, but rather theirs. In contrast, portion size is how much of a food or fluid you choose to have at one time, whether it be in your kitchen at lunchtime or eating out on a Saturday night. A portion can actually be more as well as less than a serving size. For instance, if a food label on a cereal box recommends 1 bowl as a serving size, but you usually have half of a bowl or 2 bowls, that's your portion size. If you would like to view our video on the best portion control tips, please click the link in the top right hand corner of your screen or follow the link in the description. This then leads us to portion control. Portion control is beneficial while dieting as it gives you the power to have just the right amount and keep you on track with your calories. Essentially, portion control is about being cerebral about the amounts of food you have at a meal or for a snack. This will of course change depending on your health goals. If you want to gain size and muscle, you might have larger portions to up your overall calorie intake daily. Having said that, it may be easy to derive then that portion control while dieting should be the opposite, reducing the quantity of all foods at meals than you typically have. Well, for certain types of foods, that's true. For example, you should be having less refined carbs, so less white bread, white pasta, white rice, etc. Yet for other types of food, we want to increase our portion sizes, notably non-starchy vegetables, in particular, a kind of complex carb. The reason why is that refined carbs generally contain higher carbs and calories than their complex carbohydrate counterparts, and contribute to cravings a lot more following their consumption. Juxtapose this with non-starchy vegetables, which are filling, great for health, and lower in calories gram for gram. Basically, reducing refined carb portions allows you to consume fewer calories daily, but enhancing complex carbs at meals at the same time appropriately lets you do this easier. Another thing to keep in mind when it comes to managing portions is that you want to aim to have each of the 3 macronutrients at each meal, since it helps to manage blood sugar control better. So, good proteins, carbohydrates, and fat. When I say good here, I refer to food sources that facilitate weight loss. Good protein sources include chicken, eggs, seafood, and tofu. Good or complex carbohydrates include non-starchy vegetables and whole grains. And good or unsaturated fat would be things like avocados, olives, unsalted nuts, and seeds. Of course, foods never contain only one of these macronutrients. Take chicken for instance. For every 100 grams of it, it contains around 31 grams of protein, 0 grams of carbs, and 3.6 grams of total fat. So since this food predominantly consists of protein versus the other macronutrients, we would count it as a protein to aim for at meals. Get the idea? Now, for many, dietary fat has a bad reputation. If we take a look at the calories per gram for the macronutrients, you can see why. So this shows how someone might come understandably to the conclusion that eliminating fat or drastically reducing it would be the way to go, as it, whether good or bad fat, has over twice the amount of calories than carbs or protein per gram. Indeed, for bad fat, the saturated and trans fats, this would be a good idea. Yet the benefits of healthy fat, the unsaturated fat, outweigh the extra calories associated without going overboard. This is because healthy fat is filling and is thought to help the insulin sensitivity of cells, helping to manage blood sugar control better, which is the name of the game for reducing cravings. In other words, even though healthy fat is higher in calories, its effect on appetite will mean we will intake fewer calories overall with them than without them. Still, portion sizes at meals for healthy fat would be less than for protein or carbs, given their related calories. Using a plate as an estimate size, ideally about half of it should come from complex carbohydrates. About a third should have protein, and the rest should be healthy fat. If you are making a stir fry dough, or any other meal where the contents will be mixed together and so aren't as easily distinguishable afterward, one idea may be to lay them out on a plate before mixing them instead. That being said, this is a general guideline, and there may be some outliers where their nutritional requirement would be different. For instance, if someone often exercises vigorously, they may be able to afford upping their carbohydrate portion size to give them the extra energy they need. But if someone only moderately exercises occasionally, or not at all for that matter, then sticking with the plate estimates would be fine. So, in sum, the difference between portion size and serving size is the one who decides how much food should be consumed in one sitting. You for the former, manufacturers or restaurants for the latter. By focusing on portion size, we can help increase foods that improve feelings of fullness for longer durations daily, reduce the ones that foster cravings between meals and late in the evenings, and even half the calories that we consume at meals than we normally may have, all of which supporting weight loss efforts. Do you find portion control helpful? We'd love to hear from you in the comments section down below. Additionally, if you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel. So that has been our video. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.